Hey there, I'm Dominic St-Pierre. You're listening to Go Podcast. I'm a, standard and normal software engineer doing Go since 2014. This is a podcast where we talk about software engineering, mainly regarding Go and whatnot. So this is the new show intro. No music anymore, nothing like that. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about, the state of things, of what I'm seeing. I've been in this since 2000. My first professional job, paid job, real job, was in January 2000. So yeah, I think I've seen some things here and there, and let's start with a small clip from the Silicon Valley show.
Are you fucking kidding me? You gave your AI permission to overwrite code in the internal file system? Were you gonna tell me about this?
No. I thought that was the company policy these days.
Okay, well, your AI just failed epically.
That's unclear. It's possible that Son of Anton decided that the most efficient way to get rid of all the bugs was to get rid of all the software, which is technically and statistically correct. But artificial neural nets are sort of a black box, so we'll never know for sure.
Hey, Richard, did you order meat? Like a bunch of meat? Like 4,000 pounds of meat?
Interesting. I put Son of Anton on finding us cheap hamburgers for lunch. It looks like the reward function was a little underspecified.
Okay, from now on, Son of Anton is banned. Just write code like a normal human fucking being, please.
Yeah, I really like this this piece. Silicon Valley is a great show if you haven't seen it. But yeah, I mean, these days there's not much place where we are not inundated with AI, post and on Hacker News and on LinkedIn and whatnot. So everybody is talking about it for sure. The VC industry is injecting a lot of money these days. So whenever VCs are investing money, this is what we are, stuck with, if I can say that. The message around what's going on is pretty intriguing. For years we have heard that, software engineer will become 10x what they are today. That will be the end of boring code, and writing code will probably be 100% automated at some point. This will be the end of the software engineers and whatnot. I mean, we have all heard all of those things, and this is kind of crazy when you think about that. And why are we there? What is going on with our field to get those kind of I would say results, or at least maybe not result, but those kind of things that are said are kind of, it puts some weight at some times on your shoulder. You are starting to think about, what are we doing here? What is the goal for a software engineer to get that much automation, and who's going to benefit that, frankly, and is the quality going to be affected by that? And this is mainly what I'm seeing at the moment. What I realize, having tried to discover this thing, tried to love it, quote unquote, tried to see what was the exact hype that everyone is trying to convey. The message is very wrong, in my opinion, with what it is in reality in this day. And this is this is wrong. What we are seeing in those posts and demos and YouTube video and whatnot, it's so similar to the pitch deck that they are using. This is crazy. This thing is very, very good at being a pretty believable. It has a demo factor very high, what I mean by that is that the 0 to 1 is pretty impressive with any kind of, AI generated code via CLI, for example. Let's say cloud code or any kind of tool out there. It's true that it is impressive to get that kind of result in a short amount of time for a very simple problem and things like that. But it's crazy that the message that is transpiring everywhere is so marketing driven. In reality, when you are working on a real code base, it's not at all the result that you are getting. And what we are starting to see more and more is that there is some kind of, there is more and more reaction that says things like, it's not at all helping with productivity, and even some software engineers have said that they have lost some skills and things like that after using it a little bit too much probably and things like that. I mean, there is so many unknown at the moment, and people are just jumping into that ship. Not only software engineer, but the message is so loud and and so markety that now most of people have heard about LLMs, and managers and whatnot now thinks that this is the solution to get some kind of productivity out of employees and things like that. And this is that is crazy. There is images out there in Quebec at the moment that some companies used AI to build their ads and whatnot. And I'm a blind person, so I don't even see those things. But what I'm hearing is that it's extremely visible that they were the AI was used for that, and there is some typos in there. There is things that are not good with the images and things. I mean, and this is the same for the code. If you really are honest with yourself, and everyone has probably lived that with when they were trying to use this thing, at the end of the day, it's true that it's able to spit a lot of line of codes, but man, seriously, this gets real bad at some point. For sure, you can ask the thing to create a small CSV extractor and things like that, and have some getting started, code that you could start from there. But and this is okay. I mean, it's not really what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is at some point this process or this flow is getting so messed up, and what is outputted starts to just makes no sense. And I'm wondering why we are mostly hearing what the pitch deck is wanting to say to VCs to get the thousands and of millions in funding and whatnot. I mean, we have to realize at some point that it's not really helping with the real problem. Those are not the real problems. Why our software engineer would need to go faster, or at least have some kind of decent productivity with their jobs. And this, to me, is probably where I would love to see more efforts and more discussion around. For for instance, I'm talking about, how it is. You are working at a place for a couple of years, 5-6 years, and now things starts to get extremely difficult. Maybe you are not even there. Maybe it's 2 years, but people need to love what they are doing. People need to be part of something to get some kind of productivity. If they are working on extremely boring project and things like that, it's normal that at some point people are just giving up in a sense. And I don't believe that AI will help. It will help. Some LLMs will do the job for a certain time, but do you realize how many problems this will bring to let's be real and honest, and already a lot of software systems are barely functioning, and there is a lot of maintenance to be done at some places and things like that. I mean, that is why organizations and companies of all sizes at some point just decide to rewrite their software, because they have difficulties finding people to maintain it. It gets really difficult at some point to move from where they are. People don't really want to introduce a new feature and things like that. I mean, there's a lot of, we have accumulated a lot of technical depth in our industry globally. And now we are talking about bringing semi-intelligent piece of AI that will spit a lot of line of codes without even caring about what's going on. And we are expecting senior staff to review that thing. And continue to put the same kind of quality in their reviews. I'm sorry, but if you are going to receive thousands and thousands of lines of code per day to review, it's not going to work. We are moving the problem upstairs, and now the senior staffs will just get bored, or the solution for that will be to have another level of AI that will do the reviews. But are we really understanding and hearing this where we are going with that? I mean, this is not the problem. The problem is that people needs to be part of something. They need to understand what they are doing, and they need to know why they are building software systems. And once they would start to do that, then the productivity will be there. I mean, people want to work. People just want to get some kind of recognition for what they are doing, and software engineers sometimes are often in those bigger organizations. You are basically a cog in the machine, and it is what it is. Organizations don't really have time to invest into making sure that all of their employees do get the domain knowledge that they will need to understand the problem that they are trying to solve and things like that. So, and big tech sometimes might be different, because if you are a social network, then what is the problem that you're trying to solve? Arguably, the world might be a better place without those kind of things. So I mean, it's like a vicious circle where maybe the problem is recognized, maybe there is a lot of productivity issues more and more, and people are trying to find ways to continue working there without putting much efforts, because we have all heard of those stories where people were able to work 2-3 years in a big tech company just by making their manager look good with documentation and whatnot, without ever doing any kind of work. If you go to your meeting and you produce enough document, it might be enough at some place to stay there. We have all heard of those stories. Are they true? I don't know. Maybe I would not be surprised that they are true and things like that. But the problem is, maybe we have a deeper, way deeper problem than writing code. Writing code never was a problem. And even writing boring code, I mean, at some point, what you are doing when you are building a software system is that you are accumulating this domain expertise, this system knowledge of what your company is producing to solve value, to get money. So at some point, you are paid. And it's pretty important to continue to do that. And I'm unsure, if we are going where the big industry and the VCs announce that we are going there, if we are going to a place where the automated agents are doing the work, and we basically become this prompt engineers. Not only software engineer, but I mean a lot of industry are currently affected by that. If we think about sales, if we think about customer success, customer support, I don't know. A real story of mine. I'm a long time Postmark customer. And Postmark always was this, recommended company to send transactional email and whatnot and things like that. Support was always good. You could talk to a human. They changed. They changed in the last year or so. And now I had this issue a couple of weeks ago with my transactional email. Not my broadcast email, not my marketing email that I don't care about. My two-factor authentication. And it took about 3 days before a human finally replied to me, asking for the email headers and whatnot to diagnose. And I have never heard from them again. That is kind of crazy. And that is a company that was extremely well recommended. I'm not sure these days, but frankly, so what I'm trying to say with that is, oh yes, from the company point of view, everything is fine. They have probably saved some money here and there. They have automated their customer support, but why? I mean, why are we doing that? And maybe they started to have difficulties finding staff and whatnot, or people were not staying there. But that is a totally different story. If your company is a good company and you value your employees and things like that, and you give them, good quality of life, they will work and they won't leave. So why are we trying to automate all of this? Well, and why especially people jump into that train where we don't, people might not realize, but the only person that it will benefit is the big company. I mean, it will not be the normal people like you and I. I mean, we are not going to gain from this. And not only that, but I like to write code myself. That is not the problem to me. And when I say that, LLMs is slowing me down, it's almost like, oh, you're not using it correctly. You're not accepting what we have and things like that. But that is not the point. I'm trying it and I use it, but the message around what it's trying to be, I don't understand why people are jumping into that message, because it is not going to help you as a human being and as a worker. It is going to benefit the bigger company, and they just don't care. For them, saving millions and millions on staff is probably good enough, even if their quality is going to go down probably and things like that. I don't know where we are going with this, because if the software that a company is producing is even remotely important, and now AI is going to be in that, I don't know. We have seen like Visa and MasterCard are starting to use that. I'm very curious to know exactly what are we talking about here. The amount of security issues and things like that we are hearing here and there. So there's a lot of questions to be asked, and I'm starting to understand what Steve Wozniak was going about trying to say at the beginning. Can we just stop a little bit, just evaluate what is going on, what it will have an impact on exactly, and just trying to not for once let the VCs and the big tech company drive the narrative and drive the message around things, and let them just do what they want, and they don't care whatever happen about anything else, about other than their revenue and things like that. I mean, this thing is eating a lot of resources. That is another thing that do not really get talked about. But I mean, just energy wise, generating your crappy 800 lines of code sounds and look very nice, but I mean, this thing is eating a lot of energy. Is it really what we need? Are we so desperate to, I don't know, man, to create not meaningful lines of code in every other aspect, like very poor customer support with AI and things like that? I mean, the output is not good. So what is the goal exactly? And there is some, like Gemini, for example, they are trying to write a book. They are trying to create a movie without any producer, actors, and I mean, why? Why are we doing this? Personally, I don't want to watch a movie that wasn't made by a human and without any actors in there. I mean, this is empty. What? This is it. This is crazy. I think there is a lot of problems that would need to be solved way more important than, bombarding the internet and continue creating more noise and things like that, and more output for software engineers that, do not really bring anything valuable to a company at the end of the day. So, of course, if the company is measuring the quality of a software engineer by the amount of line of codes that they are writing per day, then yes, this thing will be fine. But are we even measuring the impact at the moment? And this, I'm starting to hear and see, some counterpart to the overhyped, in my opinion, VC-based pitch deck that we have seen so far. Again, the demo aspect is so impressive that yes, it's easy to do a YouTube video showing cloud code building a tiny CLI. Okay, cool. I've been doing that for the last 25 years. I mean, it's fine. It's okay if but the real skills is to learn, and I fear like people will lose a lot. And I've said that in the Go Time podcast a long time ago. I was invited, I think it was 2021, something like that, way before, a little bit. It was just starting out at the moment. But yeah, I just think that in our society we would have way more important problems to solve, frankly, than trying to have a robot, dance. If you have seen that, they are starting to sell robots for home and things like that. But the robots isn't doing the dishes. It's not doing the laundry. I mean, I don't care that this thing is dancing. This is not what we need. We need, real world problem solving. And if company was letting employee work 3 or 4 days a week, at the choice of employees, and start to, I don't know, start to see exactly how they could have a better quality of life for the employee, then maybe this thing would not make so much noise at the moment. But again, I mean, it's just a thought. And on that, I think that's the episode for this week. All right. See you next time.